rain gauge to see how much rain we got yesterday. And we got 3 mils, so it's pretty good. I'm just popping out to collect some veggies for some lunch today because we've got some special visitors. I'm going to make some pizzas with some homegrown produce. It was grown underneath the plant. I get asked a lot, what should I plant? And I think that question has to be answered in stages. Like, what's in season? For us, we're in summer, so tomatoes are in season. These ones were grown from laterals from our bigger tomato plants. But all the summer veggies are in season, like capsicum and chilies, eggplant, basil, beans, peas, cucumbers, melons, pumpkins. So they're all the things that we've planted. Because there's no point growing things that aren't in season. There's no point growing tomatoes in winter in Victoria because they're just not going to grow. So that's the logical explanation. But the second explanation is, what's your motivation? Is your motivation to save money? And if it is, then you'd grow things that are really expensive. I saw a lady over in New Zealand and she said that zucchinis are $27 a kilo, which is just phenomenal. I don't think anything is $27 a kilo in Australia apart from garlic and ginger. I can't imagine spending $27 on something that grows so easily. So if zucchinis are $27 in your area and you like to eat them, then grow zucchinis. There's nothing really in Australia that is unaffordable like that. I would say garlic would be the only one, and that's why I grow so much garlic. But another motivation is to eat organic, and we can't eat organic and afford it where we are. We just couldn't afford to feed our kids the amount that they go through in food, and ourselves, if we were to buy only organic produce. So that's why we grow food. If you've got a limited space and your motivation is to grow something, and your motivation is to grow so you can eat organic, I would start with the Dirty Dozen. Look at what the Dirty Dozen is in your country, and grow those. Because there's quite a few things on the Clean 15 that you don't have to buy organic necessarily if you don't have the space to grow it yourself. There's no point growing something that you or your family don't eat because it's just going to waste your time, your energy, your finances, and you're going to lose motivation. Another motivation for a lot of people is to be prepared. If a natural disaster occurred and you couldn't go to the shops and you couldn't afford or you couldn't buy food from there, then you could have the means and the ways to feed your family. That isn't so much our motivation. We just want to eat wholesome food, but I also want to pass down the knowledge of growing food to our kids because it's such a lost art. Is it even an art? It's just a way of life. I mean, this was the way of life 100 years ago. You didn't go to the supermarket and buy a tin of tomatoes. This is how you grew tomatoes. This is how you got your tomatoes. And if you wanted to eat tomatoes in winter, well, you grew them extra in summer and you bottled it so you could eat it in winter. So we're trying to pass on this lifestyle and this knowledge to our kids so it doesn't get forgotten. This is my small preserving cupboard. Everything's very empty at the moment because we're just beginning summer, but I started to preserve all my excess. So I've got a heap of beetroot in here. Basically only beetroot because that's what I've had in excess so far. If you're a beginner gardener, I would start with easy things like herbs. It's really hard to kill herbs, and it's really hard to kill rhubarb. And zucchinis are super easy to grow. You really don't have to do anything. You can hand pollinate them if you wish, but technically you shouldn't have to do that. And if you plant some bee-loving plants around it, you should be able to get zucchinis without hand fertilizing. I find tomatoes fairly easy, but it really depends on your climate and your situation. But if you don't water, nothing's going to grow, so make sure you remember to water. I think that's a big key that people forget, is that if you don't water daily or every second day, then you're not going to get many things survive. And we also really like mulch. I find that when I don't mulch, I struggle to grow because the soil dries out too quick, and then the plants will die and they'll suffer and they won't be as productive. So get some hay on there, get some straw on there, some wood chips on there if they're readily available for you. But just get something on that dirt so it's not bare soil. And if you want to find out what's in season in your area, there are a heap of blogs, and I'm sure you can find one in your state or your region or your growing zone that would tell you what you should plant each month.